everybody, this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be doing a review of the 2026 movie Scream 7. We're doing a spoiler review of it, since we reviewed all the other movies earlier this year before this movie came out in the theater. So in this movie, when a new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, Sidney must face the horrors of her past to put an end to the bloodshed once again and for all. So, before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part, so take it away, Big D.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D, and I'm going to be collabing with Robbie Parker as we talk about the recent slasher flick from 2026, Scream 7, where this time around, a new Ghostface killer targets Sidney's daughter, Tatum, named after her friend who was killed in the first film. Now, while this film has drawn in negative reviews since it was released, I'm going to say I was kind of a little bit of a generous to this one, but this still has its flaws and what have you. First off, I like how the film starts out when a fan of what inspired Scream, Stab, a big fan and his girlfriend visits Stu Macher's house after hearing rumors that he might have survived having a television dropped on his head in the first film. First off, I like how the film starts out when a fan of what inspired Scream, Stab, a big fan and his girlfriend visits Stu Macher's house after hearing rumors that he might have survived having a television dropped on his head in the first film. Meanwhile, however, Sidney, now under the name, last name of Evans, as she's married to police chief Mark Evans, runs a coffee house and raises her children, including her teenage daughter Tatum, named after her late best friend. But now, she of course receives a call from Ghostface, who requests a video call and reveals himself as an aged and scarred Stu. And he announces he's going after Tatum and is outside the theater where she's rehearsing. However, Sidney soon gets a little help in ways from Gail Weathers, of course, who's back, along with her assistants Mindy and Chad Meeks Martin. Now, while despite the film's negative reviews, I kind of actually liked it. Not as much as the last two films that Paramount had released for this franchise. I mean, the last two films were pretty good. This kind of just had some flaws and all that stuff. Now, first off, they bring in Kevin Williamson on board as the director. I know this sparked a little bit of controversy, and well, he did alright with his direction of the film. But again, still it had some issues with it. Another thing was that it was a shame we didn't have Melissa Barrera back on board. And same thing with Jenna Ortega. And they also wanted Christopher Landon to direct the film. That would have been pretty cool to have him on board. However, I did find the film to be a little bit enjoyable because of its great kills and its bits of goriness, just like the last two films had. And it was great to have Marco Beltrami back on board to do the score for the film. Now, I will say it was great to have Neve Campbell back after being absent from the last film as Sidney. I still liked her performance in this. We have Roger L. Jackson back as the voice of Ghostface. And many others. Among some of the other cast members from previous films that are back are Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy, Mason Gooding as Chad, and of course Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. We also have Joel McHale as Sidney's husband Mark. I liked his performance. We get to see special appearances from, well, now defunct, or should I say dead, characters like Matthew Lillard as Stu, and Lauren Metcalf as Nancy Loomis, Scott Foley as Roman, and David Arquette as Dewey. We also have Ethan Embry as Marco and Anna Camp as well, plus McKenna Grace, whose death I think was probably one of the best, but I won't tell you how that goes. I'll keep that hush-hush for this part. And one more bit of a nitpick I have with this film was the revealing of the Ghostface killer in the movie, but I won't tell you that that was that's gonna be hush-hush. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of another big issue. But Scream 7's overall an okay film. So while Scream 7 may not be the best of the franchise, it's still okay. I mean, despite it has its flaws. But it's worth looking into if you are a hardcore completionist of the franchise. So as always, thank you for making me a part of this, Robbie, and until our next collab, this is the Big D saying see you.
Thank you, Big D. It's great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy collaborating with you. So I'm going to go ahead and get my part. I think this is a pretty good movie. I've always enjoyed this one quite a bit more than most of the Scream fans and everything. I do have issues with it and stuff, more than I did when I saw it the very first time. But I will say I do stand by a lot of things I said when I originally reviewed it. I think the story is pretty decent. Everything I like. A lot of things that we get in this movie. Neve Campbell is once again excellent as Sidney Prescott. I think this is easily her best performance in the franchise since Scream 2 and everything. I feel like this is the first one since Scream 2 where her heart is really in it and everything, and maybe that's because Kevin Williamson is really more involved in this one than he was. Well, he was involved in Scream 4 and everything. Yeah, I felt like her performance in that was still kind of wooden and stuff, but I feel like she's much better in this one. Isabel May is really good as Tatum. I think she's a really likable character, and she does a really good job at being Sidney's daughter and everything. Her chemistry with Neve Campbell is really good and everything, so I do like her. Joel McHale is really good as Sidney's husband. I think he's a really lovable character as well and everything. He's a welcome addition to the cast. I hope we get to see him more in the future. I hope they don't end up killing him off sometime. He is really likable. Yeah, I love the new characters. They all stand out and have memorable moments, but they don't really have enough to do and stuff either. So that's kind of a mixed bag on them. Like, I like them, but they also are mainly there to die and stuff. But I liked Gil more in this one than I did the other one, except for the interview scene and everything. I'll get to that in a little bit, but I did like her for the most part in this movie, and it was cool getting to see the Meeks twins again and everything. They were really likable on Scream 5 and 6, and really are the main things that are connected to Scream 5 and 6 aside from Gil and everything. So I did like that they came back. I love the way they use Stu Walker and the old characters with the AI and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool too. They don't really act like their characters and stuff, but seeing that it's an AI version made by people who didn't really know the real Stu and other characters that they showed, because they showed Scott Foley's character, Roman Bridger from Scream 3, Mrs. Loomis from Scream 2, played by Laurie Metcalf, and then Dewey and everything. They showed all of them, and they all look like they do in modern day, which that part didn't make any. Well, it did on Stu, but it didn't on them. Like, it didn't make sense why they just looked like they walked onto the set and filmed the thing and then went right back off, or even just filmed the video and sent it to Kevin Williamson on his phone, and he just edited it in the movie. Like, I did think that was really weird, but it was cool getting to see them and everything. And I do like that. Like, even though they don't really act like themselves, it does make sense, like, why they don't and everything. And the way Stu talks and everything, he's at a fan convention and stuff, quoting lines and stuff from the first movie. It's really, really weird and everything, the way the dialogue is. But I feel like it also is kind of realistic for what AI would do with stuff like that, I guess, and and everything, but I also think it's kind of cringy too. And Marco Beltrami's score was pretty good in here. It was nice having him back on board doing the music for the movie. Kevin Williamson did a pretty good job directing it. He wrote the screenplay, and I think he did a good job. The opening scene is pretty good and everything. I like the couple at the Mocker house when the guy gets stabbed in the head and you see his eye turn and stuff. It creeps me out every time. Anything that time horror movies have characters have their eyes messed with, it really freaks me out and bothers me. Yeah, and I love all the stuff between Sydney and Tatum. Like I said, it just really well done stuff. I love how like she doesn't want to talk about her friend Tatum from the first movie and stuff. She don't really want to tell Tatum the stuff about her past. She's like, you can read the books and watch the movies if you want to know about it and everything, which bothers Tatum because she's like, I want to be able to have conversations with you and stuff. And when it finally does happen at the end of the movie and Sydney does kind of talk to her daughter about Tatum and stuff, it is really well done and a pretty emotionally good performance and everything, although I do feel like the scene could have lasted a little bit longer maybe, but it was pretty good. The kills are pretty good in here too. I think the Hannah's killed. Hannah's the one that's played by McKenna Grace, and she gets killed in the theater swinging from the swinging on the ropes and everything. I thought her death was pretty brutal and everything. Really sad to see her die and stuff because Hannah only gets like 2 scenes, but she really did steal the show in those 2 little scenes that she was in. Everything. Plus, just McKenna Grace is a really likable actress. I love her in Ghostbusters and Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and Fuller House, and she's been in a lot of stuff ever since she was a little kid too and everything. So I mean, she's been around for a while, and she's just now really starting to make it bigger and everything. She's going to be playing Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in Daphne in the new Scooby-Doo show. Everything Sarah Michelle Gellar was in this, it's like she's the new Sarah Michelle Gellar of this generation in a way and everything. But she's just a really likable actress, and she was really good as Hannah. And everything, and I did hate to see her die. And then Lucas's death scene was pretty cool too, which is one of the saddest death scenes too, because he's killed by his own mother and everything. But the way she kills him and has the fountain drink flowing from his mouth is just really cool and everything. And the way she just stands there and looks at him and stuff like she's Michael Myers is really cool too. There were some pretty cool Halloween references in this movie as well. And everything. I love like how Ghostface works in the shadows at times, and like you can see like his silhouette sometimes, or just see like the white of his face in the dark and everything. Just really cool cinematography and everything. I like that too. Gail's entrance was pretty good too when she runs over the Ghostface. That was a pretty cool way for her to bring her into the movie and stuff. And I also like that the Ghostface that she runs over has no connection to Sydney except for just seeing her at the coffee shop and everything. Like I do like the idea of that. I wish they would have explored that a little bit more and everything. Like who was this guy and why was he after her and stuff. They don't really go too much into detail on it, but I do think that could have been cool and everything. And the scene in the coffee shop with Ghostface and Tatum is pretty intense. I love the part where she's like in the wall and she shoots him through the wall and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Everything really well done scene. Very good at keeping you in on the edge of your seat. Same with the scene earlier in the movie when Sydney and her are inside the wall at the house and stuff. Both of those scenes are pretty intense and fun scenes. And everything. I love a lot of that and everything. And the killer reveal is pretty good too. And while I think that Jessica's motivations are weak as hell, I don't like her motivations at all and everything. I do think that I like her because she's kind of just crazy, and you kind of she just, her motivations make no sense, but she just it fits her being an absolute lunatic and stuff too. And I kind of just like that she's doing it just because she's crazy, and she doesn't make a lot of sense. She's way too obsessed with Sydney and stuff, but she just a crazy fan, and I also feel like it was kind of taking shots at the fans that are overly crazy about this franchise, that are kind of toxic fans and stuff too, that the ones that have made death threats about Sydney not being in the movie and stuff. But as far as negatives go, I do wish that there could have been maybe a few more character cameos in there, maybe brought in Jill Roberts, brought in Randy, and maybe even brought in the original Tatum. Maybe had all of them have little small appearances in here with the AI and stuff too in that one scene. I think that could have made it a little bit better. And while I like the Ghostface killers, we're barely connected to Sydney. I think Jessica's motivations are just, like I said earlier, weak as hell, and didn't make a lot of sense. And it's definitely one of the worst Ghostface reveals in the franchise. And everything. And I do feel like there wasn't enough meta humor in this movie too. And like as much as I love this movie and I love the franchise, I do feel like it is starting to run out of steam. I don't think that it's on the level as bad as some people say it is and everything. I think it's still actually a pretty solid movie for being 7 movies in and stuff, but it's definitely not one of the absolute best Scream movies, but I don't think it's even really one of the absolute worst either. It's just kind of middle of the road Scream for me and everything. But I do feel like they relied way too heavily on nostalgia, and I felt like the Stu stuff, while they did it in a way that makes sense, that don't really disrespect the original movie by bringing him back and stuff, I do kind of feel like fans would have enjoyed the movie a lot more if Stu had actually somehow been alive and everything. It would have been a ridiculous premise and everything, because it's gonna take a lot to make you believe that he survived a TV falling on his head in the first movie. But I think if they would have done it, it could have worked. I heard that there was a version where he was supposed to be revealed to still be alive, but it didn't happen and stuff because the test audience didn't like it. And all I gotta say is that test audience is crazy, because they really run something that a lot of the fans really have wanted to see and stuff. But maybe it didn't work. I don't know. I didn't get to see it. Maybe this is definitely the better version, but I do feel like they could have done a little bit better with some things in this movie. All in all, I still stick with Scream 7 being a welcomed addition to the franchise. I don't think it's the best by any means and stuff. I think it's probably definitely not quite as good as the last 2 movies. I would have much rather them have continued with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega and everything. Maybe brought Sydney back in a way or whatever, but I would have much rather Sam and Tara's story continue than what they did with this movie and everything. But I also don't hate it. Like, all in all, Scream is Scream. I enjoy the movie and everything, and this one did feel like a classic Scream movie, so I don't really have a lot of complaints for it. I do tend to like nostalgia bait movies. Sometimes I feel like others do it better than others, and there are ones that have done it way better than this movie, but I also don't feel like it's the worst I've seen either, so it's just kind of an alright time, or a good time. I mean, I wouldn't even say alright, it's a good time and everything. So it's very predictable and stuff, but this franchise has been predictable since the 5th movie. That's something that I feel like ever since Scream 5 came out, each movie, you know who the killers are going to be and everything. I knew who the killer was going to be on Scream 5 before I ever saw Scream 5 and everything, and I figured it out on Scream 6 as well, although there were some twists and turns in there that did keep me surprised, so I felt like Scream 6 was a little bit more refreshing, and this one I think was a step down from both of those 2 movies and everything, but it's not my least favorite movie in the franchise by any means either. It just isn't one of my most favorites. But anyway, thank you, Big D, again for joining me. It was great to have you on here. I hope we can start getting back into doing the collabs and stuff. I'm planning on trying to do more videos and stuff and everything. We've got a lot more planned out and everything. But yeah, so all in all, like, I give Scream 7 an 8 out of 10. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody. I just want to say thank you for watching this video and everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and get more people going, help the channel grow. I really appreciate it. And thank you all, and have a good day.
Yeah.